Everybody's a shopping cart. Wouldn't it be nice to look into your cabinet and say, I need some peanut butter and some eggs, and have them magically appear in your hands? AI can't do that yet, but we can get close. Today, I'll show you how to build a workflow on Buildship to go from a voice note directly to your cart. I'm honestly surprised that we haven't seen more of this out there yet. I would love to not have to open my phone and type and click for everything that I want to order. I can just speak to it. It's able to go and check the inventory, find the right things that match, and give me options. Buildship.tools, we have a new template called the Voice to Cart Order Builder. This is very useful if you want to go from a voice message to a structured JSON. In this case, we're going to use it for a grocery store cart, but you can do this for any online ordering. You can find the template for this tool by going to buildship.tools and typing in Voice to Cart Order Builder. You would connect this with your existing systems and be able to send any type of file, .ogg, .mp3, and the workflow will transcribe the text. So in this case, I want 1 jar of organic peanut butter and 6 free-range eggs, and it will output a cart with the items that it found in inventory, as well as the unavailable items and the reason that it wasn't able to find that item. It'll also go and create a total for the cart and give you some references so you can easily interact with your database. So anybody selling anything online should be able to use this to add voice into their customers' flow. To get started from our template, just click Remix and either set up an account or add this to the workspace that you want to add it to. And what we have here is a pretty simple workflow. If you haven't used Buildship before, it's very much like using different Lego pieces and constructing them together to build a workflow that does something. So this one takes as input a voice file. It uses OpenAI's Whisper speech to text, where we put in the voice file. We go into the expression editor, and the voice file is easy to be referenced. You just type in voice, and there you go. For Whisper, we just want to take from the voice file the transcript. If we wanted to get things like the timestamps, we could add it as verbose JSON or JSON here. And we could even have timestamps where it says either the segment or the individual words as output. So for this one, we could just get the transcription out. If you want more detail, edit these. Now, a lot of people are trying to use AI to do the entire workflow in one step. Buildship lets you break this down into repeatable small pieces so that you have a high certainty that you're going to get out what you actually want. The next thing that we've added here is a JSON extractor. So to add a new node into a workflow, just click on the new node here. We can search for JSON, and there are a lot of different ways to interact with JSON files. We wanted to use just the OpenAI JSON generator, but we have that available for Anthropic, DeepSeek, Gemini, any other model you might want. So we added that node, and we called it extract requested items. We've given it the job to extract the items, quantities, and constraints from the in order request. And we've given the transcription text here from the previous node. So it's very easy to reference anything from a previous node. You go into the variables here and look for the node that you want it to go from. And then anything within that object you can select. We just want the transcription. Really nice here is if you are working with systems, you can't let the AI hallucinate and you're not going to get what you want out. So we have this JSON schema here where we get the requested items as an array of objects, where the name, the quantity, the price, and then any item attributes. This is a great way to get repeatable processes out of the AI instead of having something that you're not really sure will be consistently able to interact with your system. So the next thing we do is we look in Buildship's built-in database at the inventory table. So it's very easy to get here. Just come into the sidebar and click on database, and you will see all of your database tables. So I've opened up the inventory table, and this is built in. You don't have to do anything extra. You just need to add a node and say, add to this collection name inventory, and you'll be able to use the Buildship databases, which is great. So we have things like the inventory units, the item name, some attributes for a little bit softer, soft logic on data. We have the price per unit, product ID, and then the unit here. So what's happening is we go in, we get this inventory with just the item name and the product ID, and we check against the requested items. Are any of these requested items in the inventory, which is this fuzzy match stage? You could do this with just SQL. It depends on how large of a database that you have. So you have a lot of different options here. We've literally just taken that entire table and we're using GPT 4.1 mini, which is a very cheap model, to try and extract which of these items show up in the product's catalog. Again, looks very similar to the JSON schema above with a little bit more complex instructions. So as an output here, we get the matched items. So the requested item, organic peanut butter, and then the match name, peanut butter, and then the relevant product IDs. So this is the first step and giant filter that we're trying to make sure we get the right matches in. Once we've gotten those fuzzy matches, which we've asked it to be a little bit liberal on, so if we get even generally close, so I would expect it even if we had peanuts in the inventory to return peanuts. So we loop through the matched items, do them one by one. We get those individual items. So for example, here we get the eggs, and then we build a cart from the matched items and the requested items and just output that. So that is a very simple process to go from a voice file all the way down into a JSON schema of transcribed items. This is a very easy way to go from voice to cart. We have our transcribed text here. We have the individual items that we requested. And then we also have unavailable items that we're able to go and look for so that if we need to provide something back to the user, have some human in the loop, or ask for another update, we can push that right back to them. A lot of these workflows are very simple, and it would be very easy to add it into your business. This one's only 6 or 7 nodes, and it's very easy to add into whatever system you need. So this is great to be able to test it in our test center here, but to actually use this in production, it's just a couple extra steps. We can click ship, and when I click ship, it creates an API URL. It handles all of the infrastructure so you don't have to, and this thing's ready to go and integrate with your existing systems. So I like to think of Buildship as a systems orchestrator, pulling together lots of different things like the OpenAI API and all of its different functionalities, like Buildship's built-in database, or whichever system you have existing. You might retrieve, for example, from your existing inventory system rather than a Buildship database. And then now that this is shipped, we come to the Connect tab, and we can connect this either with the OpenAI specification in Python, in JavaScript. Really, we can also automatically create an MCP server, however you want to connect this. So we have a tool trigger set up with this so that it's easy to connect with an MCP tool. But if you are trying to build it into Amazon.com, for example, you can add a trigger, which is just a regular REST API call. If you want to go directly from a file, which I would recommend going from the URL for a file, you can do a REST API file upload. But if you want to go from a URL, you can just use the REST API call. So lots of different ways to get this set up. If you have any questions about how to get this going, feel free to reach out to us. Feel free to set up a demo, and we're looking forward to seeing what you build with it. Thanks for your time and have a wonderful day.